Before you judge someone, pause for a second and ask yourself a simple question. What if I'm wrong? Not wrong in facts, but wrong in understanding. Because most of the time what we call judgment is just a quick story our mind creates to fill the gaps we don't have the patience to explore. You see someone fail and your brain whispers they're careless. You see someone succeed and it says they're lucky. You see someone act differently and suddenly they become strange, arrogant, or weak. But the truth is you are not seeing their whole story. You are seeing a single moment, a tiny fragment, and building an entire identity around it. We live in a world that moves fast, and because of that we think fast. And because we think fast, we judge fast. It feels efficient. It feels smart. But it's often deeply unfair. Every person you meet is carrying something you cannot see. A silent battle, a hidden fear, a past that shaped them in ways they themselves are still trying to understand. And yet we look at the surface and believe we've understood the depth. That's where judgment begins, and that's where connection ends. Think about your own life for a moment. Think about a time when someone misunderstood you. Maybe they assumed you were rude when you were just tired. Maybe they thought you were lazy when you were actually overwhelmed. That feeling, that frustration of being reduced to a label, that's exactly what we do to others without even realizing it. And the irony is we hate being judged, yet we do it constantly. The Stoics believe that most of our suffering comes not from events themselves, but from the judgments we attach to them. And that applies not only to situations, but to people as well. When you judge someone, you're not just forming an opinion, you are shaping your emotional reaction. You're deciding whether to feel anger, envy, superiority, or distance. And often those emotions hurt you more than anyone else. Now imagine a different approach. Imagine replacing judgment with curiosity. Instead of saying, "Why are they like this?" you ask, "What might they be going through?" Instead of labeling someone, you try to understand them. This small shift changes everything. Because curiosity opens doors while judgment closes them. This doesn't mean you ignore bad behavior or accept everything blindly. It means you separate the action from the person. It means you respond with awareness instead of reaction. You can disagree without disrespect. You can set boundaries without becoming bitter. You can stay wise without becoming cold. There's also something deeper here. When you judge others, you train your mind to judge yourself the same way. Every harsh thought you direct outward eventually turns inward. That inner critic becomes louder, more unforgiving. But when you practice understanding others, you also learn to be kinder to yourself. You start to see your own mistakes as part of growth, not proof of failure. Life is not as simple as right and wrong, good and bad. It's complex, messy, and beautifully unpredictable. People are not characters in a story you control. They are entire worlds you barely glimpse. And once you realize that, judgment starts to feel less like power and more like limitation. So the next time you feel that instant urge to judge, don't fight it aggressively. Just notice it. Pause, breathe, and remind yourself that you are seeing a moment, not a lifetime. That small pause is where wisdom begins. There's a quiet kind of strength in choosing not to judge. It doesn't shout. It doesn't try to prove anything. It simply observes, understands, and moves with intention. And in a world where everyone is quick to react, that kind of calm awareness becomes rare and powerful. Let's be honest, judging others can feel good in the moment. It gives a false sense of control. It makes you feel like you understand the world, like you figure people out. But that feeling doesn't last, because deep down your mind knows it took a shortcut. It knows you didn't really understand, you just assumed. And assumptions, no matter how convincing, are fragile. Now think about the people you admire the most. The ones who make you feel comfortable, respected, and understood. Chances are they are not the ones who criticize every small thing. They are the ones who listen. The ones who make space for different perspectives. The ones who don't rush to conclusions. That's not a coincidence. That's the power of withholding judgment. There's also a playful side of this idea, something people often forget. When you stop judging so quickly, life becomes more interesting. People become more fascinating. Instead of putting them into categories, you start discovering their uniqueness. Conversations become deeper. Connections become more real. It's like switching from black and white thinking to full color. And here's something important. Not judging others doesn't mean you lose your standards. It means you apply them with wisdom. You still choose who you spend time with. You still decide what behavior you accept. But you do it without hatred, without unnecessary negativity. You act from clarity, not ego. The truth is, everyone is on their own timeline. Someone who seems lost today might find their path tomorrow. Someone who appears confident might be struggling internally. Someone who made a mistake might be learning in ways you can't see. When you judge too quickly, you freeze people in a single moment and deny them the possibility of change. And if you're being honest with yourself, you've changed too. You're not the same person you were a few years ago. You've grown, learned, made mistakes, and evolved. So why deny others that same process? There's a quiet freedom in letting go of judgment. You stop carrying unnecessary emotional weight. You stop reacting to everything. You become more present, more aware, more at peace. And that peace reflects in your actions, your words, and your relationships. But this is not something that happens overnight. It's a practice. You'll catch yourself judging again and again. That's normal. The goal is not perfection, it's awareness. Each time you notice it, you take a step forward. Each time you choose understanding over assumption, you grow a little more. And maybe the most powerful part of this journey is how it changes the way you see humanity. You start to realize that we are all more similar than we think. We all want to be understood. We all want to be respected. We all carry struggles that we don't always show. And once you truly see that, judgment starts to lose its grip. So take this as a small challenge. For the next few days, try to notice when you judge someone. Don't suppress it, just observe it. Then gently ask yourself, is there more to this story? That simple question can open your mind in ways you didn't expect. And now I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever been judged unfairly or caught yourself judging someone too quickly? What did you learn from it? Share your thoughts, your experiences, or even your questions in the comments. Because sometimes the best way to grow is not by being right, but by being open.